Africa is rising, and we will no longer bow to foreign control. Our future belongs to us, to our people, and we will fight for it with unity, pride, and purpose. Picture a grand hall in New York City. The United Nations General Assembly is in full session. Inside are the world's most powerful leaders, presidents, prime ministers, and ambassadors from every continent. The atmosphere is electric. The world has gathered to mark 80 years since the birth of the United Nations, an organization founded in the aftermath of the devastation of World War II. It is a moment meant for celebration, but what follows becomes something far greater. It becomes a historic shift in global consciousness. UN Secretary-General António Guterres takes the podium, not with a routine diplomatic speech, but with bold, unapologetic words that change everything. His message is clear, fearless, and revolutionary, especially for Africa. This isn't just a speech. It is a call to action, a rallying cry for justice, and a powerful endorsement of a continent ready to claim its future. 80 years ago, the world was in ruins. World War II had destroyed cities and taken millions of lives. In 1945, from the ashes of global conflict, the United Nations was created, not merely as a body of nations, but as a bold idea that cooperation, peace, and shared humanity could prevent future wars. At the core of the UN lies its charter, a living document that promises peace, equality, and justice for all. It affirms that every nation, big or small, deserves a voice and a seat at the table. And for decades, the UN has delivered, protecting human rights, promoting development, sending aid to crisis zones, and speaking out for the marginalized. But António Guterres is honest in his reflection. The UN's mission is not yet complete. Global challenges remain vast and urgent: conflict, inequality, climate disasters, human rights violations, and rising distrust in multilateralism. A speech that shook the world. When Guterres steps up to speak, the hall expects the usual diplomatic language, cautious optimism, and ceremonial tone. But what he delivers is something else entirely. His voice is steady, his words uncompromising. He speaks not only of the UN's accomplishments, but of the global crises that threaten its founding principles. He calls out violations of international law, unjust wars, and the weaponization of food, water, and information. He warns that the very principles of the UN Charter, once seen as unbreakable, are now being treated as optional. And then, in a moment that stuns the room, he turns to Africa. He calls out the historic exploitation of African nations, the legacy of colonialism, the economic imbalances, and the systems of control that still bind many countries. He declares that the time has come for change. Guterres does something unprecedented. He publicly voices support for Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is more than a head of state. He is the face of a new Africa. A leader who came to power in 2022 during a period of crisis, promising to put Burkina Faso first and fight for sovereignty, dignity, and independence. Burkina Faso, like many African nations, has long struggled with poverty, foreign interference, and the lasting effects of colonial borders and systems. But Traoré represents a new generation of African leadership, unapologetic, clear-eyed, and determined to ensure Africa's resources serve its own people first. For decades, leaders like Traoré were dismissed by powerful countries, branded as radicals or threats to the global order. But Traoré is different. He is calm, focused, and consistent in his vision. And now, in front of the world, he is recognized and respected. When Guterres names him, the hall falls into silence. It's a moment of validation, not just for Traoré, but for all Africans fighting for sovereignty. Why is this moment so important? Because it shifts the global narrative. For centuries, Africa's story has been told by outsiders, colonizers, foreign governments, global media. Africa has been viewed through the lens of need, not strength. But now, the United Nations, the most recognized global institution, acknowledges Africa's rising voice. Guterres declares, Africa must be respected. The leaders of today, leaders like Captain Ibrahim Traoré, represent a new era of self-determination. The United Nations must support their right to shape their futures, free from foreign interference. This is not mere rhetoric. It is a powerful statement, one that resonates across borders. The reaction in Africa is immediate. From Dakar to Nairobi, Bamako to Addis Ababa, people are talking. Social media erupts with pride. Videos of Traoré seated in the General Assembly, stoic and composed, go viral. Hashtags like hashtag and hashtag TraoreSpeaksForYou trend across platforms. Youth, elders, activists, and leaders alike feel a shared emotion. This is our moment. In marketplaces, universities, and homes, people are saying the same thing. Africa is stepping into its power. Africa has long been a land of wealth and promise, its resources, culture, and youth unmatched. Yet it has also been a target of extraction and marginalization. Colonial powers took its gold, oil, diamonds, and labor. After independence, many African countries remained tethered to economic systems that benefited others. But that chapter is ending. A new story is being written. One where Africa is not defined by what was taken, but by what is being built. From digital innovation in Kenya, to energy independence in Ghana, to youth movements across Nigeria and South Africa, a new Africa is rising, and the world is watching. Guterres' speech comes just weeks after world leaders sign the Pact for the Future, a UN agreement that outlines goals for a just, inclusive, and sustainable 21st century. This pact emphasizes unity, climate action, digital transformation, and equitable development. It reaffirms the UN's commitment to every nation, every culture, every voice. For Africa, it signals a new opportunity to engage as an equal partner in shaping the global future. Guterres calls for a more responsive UN, one that invests in African-led solutions, that supports education, infrastructure, and technology driven by Africans, for Africans. The road ahead. This is only the beginning. Traoré's leadership and Guterres' endorsement are not isolated events. They are part of a larger wave, an African awakening. A demand for dignity, representation, and real economic independence. This wave includes the farmers fighting for land rights, the students building the next generation of African science and technology, the artists, journalists, and entrepreneurs reshaping African culture and identity. It includes you. Yes, Africa still faces challenges. Yes, the road ahead will be hard. But the vision is clear, an Africa that stands proud, speaks loudly, and leads boldly. A global call to action. Guterres' speech is more than a moment. It is a movement. It is a reminder that international cooperation must be built on mutual respect, not control. That peace is not just the absence of war, but the presence of justice. That Africa's rise is not a threat. It is a gift to the world. The time of Africa being dictated to is over. The time of Africa rising on its own terms has begun. Join the movement. Share the message. Support the future. Africa is rising. And this time, the world will not look away. António Guterres' speech is more than a moment. It's a movement. By standing with Captain Ibrahim Traoré in Africa's fight for sovereignty, he has changed the global conversation. The UN, once seen as distant or neutral, is now a champion for a continent ready to claim its place in the world. This is history in the making. It's a story of courage, resilience, and hope. It's a reminder that when we stand together, we can change the world. Africa is rising and the world is watching. Let's make sure they see it all. Every step, every victory, every dream. Join us in this journey, and let's build a future where every nation shines. Africa is rising. The world is watching. And this time, the story will be written by Africans themselves. Every step, every voice, every victory, this is just the beginning.